These are nice memories of the past. Now I would like to have a totally unforgivable, egoistic phrase in my talk, and that's about my meeting the two great men of India, Gandhi and Nehru. I was just talking about this, four of us going to Bombay 2 days after Gandhiji's release. And Ravindra Verma had contacts with the Congress movement. We went there and we were asked to sit with him one evening and help in the distribution of papers and all that in the prayer meeting and the night. While we were sitting there, we were told that Bapuji had his Mauna Vrata that day. So we had a totally unproductive meeting with the great man. But it's not entirely unproductive. We had, apart from Gandhiji, we had three great ladies there. Sarojini Naidu, Vijayalakshmi Pandit, who had just lost her husband, and Sushila Nair, the doctor. All of them were with the meeting, and then 2 minutes after we sat down, the great nightingale of India became an angry vulture and barged into us. You boys, what did you do? Why did you go to jail? Why did you fight? Did you ask you? We, of course, we were not nice people, we were not polite people, we were correct people. We could not say any single word with Gandhiji sitting there. But it is a very memorable occasion, and I always have not forgiven myself for not trying to spend some more time with Gandhiji when he was speaking, but I didn't. The other, of course, is a much more simple thing. It was an arranged interview with Panditji. Jawaharlal Nehru was also foreign minister, as you know, and he had this very sweet habit of every year spending about 10 minutes each with the new entrants to the foreign service, what are called the probationers. And so I was called to meet him. Fortunately, it's a remarkable time. It was February end of 1953. 1 week after Stalin's death. It's a very important time, and we had a very interesting meeting. The old man, he's not an old man then, Panditji said, "Tum kaise jail gaya? Kab gaya?" I said with absolute confidence of the non-Hindi speaking Hindi wala. Third subject he discussed was Kenya, because at that time the movement of the African nationalists against the British was gathering in strength in Kenya. And he, I remember, talked to me about it for 2 or 3 months, and such a civilized explanation he gave. You think that these people of Indian origin who are in Kenya and other countries, they should be loyal to India? Not at all, he said. I didn't say it. They should be loyal to the country of their adoption. They are living there. I'm just trying to tell you how this lovely man impressed me. 3 years later, he came to Ceylon when I was a third secretary there, and I stood near him to introduce the visitors who the politicians come. I was rather frightened, you see. And then he said, "Shor se bolo." And so I had to speak much louder, you see. And we found him so charming. And one of my cherished possessions is a photo of Panditji with me next to him for the meeting, the big meeting which he arranged in Colombo. I am trying to give you an impression of these great men, how they were. There are so many others. I wish I could tell you more about the. Unfortunately, I also did not have much. The only other occasion which I had with a great man was with JP when I was in Moscow, one of the officers, and Jayaprakash came to Moscow as an emissary of Indira Gandhi. This is before the emergency and the trouble. During the trouble, this Bangladesh, not Bangladesh, yes, not the East Bengal, East Pakistan problem. And he was sent by Mrs. Gandhi to explain to other countries what a problem we are having in having this exodus from East Pakistan. And I went with him, went with all over the place. And I do remember I accompanied him to Lenin's memorial room. He was so excited to find the books which Lenin used to read 60 or 70 years ago. I am telling you these things because in political life, as a student, and also later on as a member of the diplomatic service, I have had occasion to come into contact with these people. They are all very good people, sometimes difficult, sometimes arrogant, but all the time they were there to fight for our country. The Yasir book is memorable for specifically this. The two ladies, of course, I told you, stay most in my mind, but the others are also there. All the great Muslim leaders of the thing, starting from Shah Ahmad Khan to the latest people in the 40s and the 50s. It's a great experience Yasir had in going through many libraries in India and collecting this material. I'm sure that there's more material to be done, both in this specific chosen field of studies, the Islamic contribution to the Indian national movement, but also the bigger question. He should carry on this, complete this agenda, and after that, what he should do is to study the whole national movement. As my predecessor said, there is a whole generation gap between the people who took part in the national movement in the 30s and the 20s and the 40s a little bit, and also the people who grew up in independent India. We also found that India was for a long time ignored by the world, but slowly, quietly, inevitably, it walked into the center of civilization. Today, these two large civilizations who were for several centuries not forgotten but suppressed, that of China and India, have come back, and they will also take part. That doesn't mean that the other great countries like Germany, Japan, Britain, and all these people won't come. Even now, if you are talking about yesterday and today, this remarkable country, Egypt, which has played such an important role in the Arab-Israeli conflict, and who, since the rise of Nasser and to Arafat, has played the most important part in the Arab civilization, they are also coming up. We should see ourselves as a part. Before I close, I should also remember Yasir has said a lovely passage about Tagore also. Tagore is something unique of which we can all be proud. Wherever we go, we have got Tagore in our mind. And I don't know whether you young people know the controversy about Tagore's national anthem. Some people say that this national anthem was written for the King of Britain in 1910 before his Darbar. Whatever it is, whether it was the King of Britain or the President of India, the idea that the people of this large country are represented in one individual temporarily is something which you have got to admit. And that's where Tagore always comes in. There are so many other things we can talk about, but as I told you, I am long past the age when I read books. I glance through them. But this particular book has got a very convenient arrangement of photographs and descriptions, which make it easier for someone like me to get a lot. I congratulate Yasir for producing this lovely book.
Thank you.